every time that I talk to someone about journaling, there's this sense of, wow, it's so good that you journal. And then you'll ask them, do you journal? Like, oh, is it something you're into as well? And they're always going to have that same response. They're always going to have that response of, I used to. I actually think that more people are like they used to journal from people I've spoken to than they just, nah, it's not something I'm into. Like there's a sense that it's like one of those things that everyone has been into at some point, but like a lot of things that were actually really valuable in life, it's like I think we struggle to keep up with these things, right? Same with working out. Like a lot of people, like they'll hear about your workout routine or your nutrition or whatever, and they say, oh yeah, I was really into it at one point, but we don't keep up with it. And I think the reason that we don't stay put with things, the reason we don't build up enough consistency with that thing is because it simply doesn't serve enough of a purpose to us. We view a lot of these things in personal development and like inner work, we view them as luxuries, in other words. So for example, something like journaling, if you view journaling as like, oh, it'd be nice to just kind of have a bit of time to like express myself and like learn, maybe even learn something about myself or learn about how I think a bit better, like that's all valuable and it's really useful and like definitely a good enough reason to journal. But at a deeper level, something you're going to stick with something more when it becomes highly valuable to you. Like for me, for example, I've been living out of home and bumbling around this city by myself with no family and very little money for years. You know, my life has been crazy. I've lived with so many different kinds of people. I've done so many different things. I've been in all these disparate, weird, different relationships. Some of them that had lasted a while, some of them that have literally just been for one night. I've met all these different people, and I wouldn't change any of that. I've loved my crazy life, but it has been hectic, and there have been parts that have been really scary. So, in doing that, journaling was one of the only things that maintained consistency for me. It was one of the only consistent things in my life, you know, really like exercising and stuff, but even that kind of slipped here and there, or like journaling, though, I've never really stopped. I've always just kept up with it. That's why I've filled up so many journals because it actually offered me something of true value. I've never seen journaling as a luxury. I've seen it as a necessity to maintain a level of stability and sanity among the absolute craziness of becoming an adult in a very massive world with very many polarizing opinions and different points of views and fears and anxieties and joys, the guts and the glory. There's been so much of that happening, like so much is happening all the time, that journaling is just something I do. Like for me, I'm an early riser and I'll get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning most mornings and I just take some time to journal. And yeah, journaling's changed a lot for me, and I'm going to be making videos in the future about the different kinds of journaling and the different values that come out of it. But generally speaking, it has been a center point for me. It is a point of consistency in an otherwise crazy planet and a crazy life. So if you want to build consistency in journaling, if you want to build consistency, it has to have use to you. It has to serve a function in your everyday life. That's really what makes it valuable to you. What kind of function does that thing serve? See, and you can actually apply this to consistency with any habit, anything that you're looking to develop like that. We don't really want habits, though. I don't really like that word because habits sort of bespeaks that it's quite unconscious and it's some sort of pattern you just get into, where we want to build like a conscious pattern of something that we're doing, right? So if you really want journaling to stick, it has to serve a function to you. What function does it serve? See, for me, like I said before, self-expression was not a luxury. Self-expression was a necessity, because if not, I just wouldn't be able to maintain that level of stability. I need to know what I'm thinking because I'm a very cerebral person. You know, I'm a mind mapper, and that's the function that it served to me. So when you're building consistency if you're trying to build consistency in any habit, the trick is to ask yourself, what is the function? It's not just luxury. It has to serve a purpose. It has to serve a function. If it serves a valuable enough function, you'll stick with it. You won't even question it. Trust me. That's how you build consistency. Anyway, if you got value out of this little one, like and subscribe to the channel. Help me build this thing up. Share this with anyone you feel like would get value out of it. And yeah, I hope you're having a beautiful day. That's me.